Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Cherisse. So guys, I am totally out of Utah. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I lived in Utah for 6 months in the city in an apartment in a normal person job, and I just moved back into my car and I'm back on the road again. So I'm in Nevada currently, and wow, what a shift. I've had such a massive shift in my energy. Honestly, even since leaving like a couple hours out of the city, I tried to do the normal person thing and honestly just showed myself that that is not for me. Not that I don't have the desire to settle into a cute little cabin next to the river someday. For now, this is what I'm gonna be doing, but I am finding so much peace, to be honest, being back in this mode of living. I am staying at my dad's house for about a week right now, doing some work, making some gas money, so that's my little update. But I am just so grateful right now for how much peace I feel. And I think that you can create peace no matter where you're at. And I think it is a little bit more of like a monk mentality to do that. But I also am just so grateful that I have this ability, as well as the courage and the confidence, to just up and leave and move into my car and jump into the unknown. Because I create a lot of peace for myself by doing that. I'm a highly sensitive person, and if you relate to this, that being in a very crowded place with a lot of noise and a lot of people is not really a healthy environment for me. And because I don't have a whole lot of responsibilities, that's something that I'm actually very grateful for. I can up and leave. I don't own a lot, so it's not as big of a deal for me to do that. I understand that that is not necessarily possible for everybody at this point in your life, because perhaps you have certain responsibilities, or perhaps you are on a different type of timeline and different timing than I am, that it might take a little bit more time to move out of the situations or places that you're in that you might not necessarily like. But I'm in the desert right now, and I'm just so grateful, guys. I am. And I won't say that it's all just perfect sunshine and rainbows and butterflies. I still have my ups and downs. Even just leaving like less than a week ago, I still have ups and downs throughout my day. I still feel sadness thinking about things and such. But I will say one of the biggest things that has shifted is my ability to look at things differently in my life, as well as my ability to move through certain energies and feelings more easily. I think being such a highly sensitive person, I'm just not meant for the city life, guys. Like, the middle of nowhere is much more of my vibe, and being out in a place where it is not as populated and crowded and constantly overstimulated actually gives me a greater ability to step back and observe things going on in my life, inside of me and around me, with a more peaceful stance. I think also being in the desert, I think the desert is such a highly spiritual place that going into the desert first thing leaving Utah, and I'm going to be in the desert for a little while, leaving the desert, going back to the desert. I think that it is just such an intensely spiritual place that it deeply connects you with yourself in a really beautiful way. I think the desert's very purging, so especially first entering into the desert, you might feel really intense emotions such as anger and rage or deep sadness and longing. I think when you feel through those, it kind of purges it out of your system, and then it brings you into this like closer union with yourself and your ability to perceive life through a more clear lens rather than just through the lens of pain and trauma. I found that one of the things that I have been processing just in this short little bit of time of leaving the city, and I love it because I love feeling through those deep emotions and going into the darkness and connecting on a deep spiritual level in other dimensions and with the spirits and all of this. Like, I love that. And being in the city, it is much more difficult for me to connect on a deeply spiritual level as much as I like to do it. So now that I've been out of the city and into the desert, I've just been going really deep into myself, but in a way that is so much more gentle than what I was experiencing in the city. And one of the things that I've been really processing is the balancing of the divine masculine and feminine within myself. So I think that there is a great big thing out there about like twin flames and such. I honestly don't really know what I think about that. I don't know if I actually believe in twin flames, and I kind of have my own little beliefs around that. You are allowed to disagree with what I think. I had somebody tell me, and my younger brother once, that we were actually twin flames, which is actually very common for twin flames to be family members. But there is like this really big fad that like your twin flame is like your romantic soulmate, and if you aren't with your twin flame, then you're not with who you're supposed to be with. And I think that that is like totally wrong, especially if twin flames can be family members. I also have a little bit of like, I don't know, like I believe for a little period of time, like maybe your twin flame is like your most compatible person out there, and that can change as you shift and change. And then I also kind of was in the belief that like your twin flame is basically yourself, and finding that divine union with your twin flame is finding divine union with the masculine and the feminine aspects of yourself, your yin and yang. I kind of like that, but who knows, guys? Who knows what that is? But the masculine and the feminine, the divine masculine and the feminine, a lot of times people just look at that as something outside of themselves. So say you are a female, a straight female, or even like bisexual, you're attracted to men, you would view it, some women would view that as their divine masculine is a man outside of themselves, and this can be counteractive with the man looking outside of themselves for their divine feminine. And while I think that this is totally a real thing, like yes, there are many divine masculine men and many divine and many divine feminine women, but there are the other elements of different sexes and genders and such and sexualities that it starts to complicate that a little bit. So unless you only believe in like being straight, like I'm for instance bisexual, and if I ended up with say another woman, well, that would still be my divine feminine, right? But that would also be I am the divine feminine. And it might create a little bit of confusion because I think that people forget to look at the aspect of the divine feminine and masculine has to do with yourself as well. And we hold both parts of those. We hold both parts of those. There is the aspect of the masculine is like the giver and the feminine is the receiver. And I think honestly in an unhealthy balance, an unhealthy like balanced relationship between, I'm just going to use a man and a female with this, would be the man always being the giver and the woman always just being the receiver. But in a truly healthy and balanced relationship, the woman is going to give just as much to the man, perhaps in different ways than the man gives to the woman. That is true balance between the masculine and the feminine on an actual physical level. So if you take that, I'm so excited to be talking about this. This is something that I'm super, super into, guys. But when you take that and you kind of reflect that into yourself, it is the perfect balance of your feminine and your masculine elements giving and receiving within you. So this might honestly only be a message for a few people out there. I don't know who's going to vibe with this. It's been a while since I've talked about like stuff a little bit more deeply spiritual like this. But one of the things that I've been really like diving into is I've been thinking really strongly about a man who is a part of my life on like a spiritual and energetic level, but in a physical sense, no, he is not a part of my life at this moment. Who knows, perhaps we will come back into like some form of physical union, but this is somebody that I connect with a lot on an energetic and a spiritual level, and I generally have just a lot of love and admiration to give, and recently it's been frustrating me a little bit, like how much I've been thinking about him, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like this yesterday, and then I watched this YouTube video where she was talking about basically the union of masculine and feminine, and I didn't watch this at first because I thought it was just one of those classic twin flame things on like physical union between a man and a woman, and I think I like accidentally clicked on it, and it was so different. It was about the union of the masculine and the feminine within yourself, as well as how that represents what is going on in the outer, more 3D connection between the masculines and feminine energies. So it was talking about how like there's this great purging going on specifically in the masculine side. So if you're new to this, your body represents feminine. The left side of your body would be the feminine side of you, and the right side of your body would be the masculine side of you. And I honestly believe that this could differ with each person. I think that some people are just very like, no, it's this, it's that. I think that the universe is too magical to just make everything so boxed in to be like every single person is that and that. But anyway, I could usually assign the right side of my body to my masculine elements or my masculine energy. I think that would be the yang. And I have been getting like super itchy on my legs, like in these random spots, and it just like the itch won't go away, and it's just like really frustrating itch. And I personally believe that itches are kind of like, especially if it's an itch that doesn't go away, it's like something that it's a sign that your body is talking to you. It's like a message, and it's something energetically is moving through your body, and it's possibly some type of frustration. Mine were basically on my feet and my leg, which is about moving forward, stepping forward. And after watching this video, I kind of realized that like me being frustrated about thinking about this guy so much when I usually am just like so at peace about thinking about him, it's like all smooth and mellow, and starting to get frustrated, and then I was frustratingly itching and there's nothing there, and I kind of realized that I am purging this toxic buildup in the masculine side of my body and the masculine elements of myself, which is also a very action-oriented element in yourself. I'm kind of purging that, as well as while I am connecting with certain masculine energies in my life, I am purging old energies, old emotions, old hurts, old traumas around them. And I wouldn't say that there is like a bunch of hurt around this man. It's honestly mostly just admiration and like deep love for him. But I think that there is definitely a little bit of frustration around this connection. And I kind of realized that like me feeling and me like connecting with him on this energetic and spiritual level, and feeling all the things I was feeling, from the love to even the frustration, was necessary for me to purging the masculine aspects of myself. And then I started feeling myself more deeply connecting with him, the more that I was like observing it as like, oh, I'm connecting with this person for a reason. Even feeling this frustration is for a reason. And I just kind of started to lean into it a little more, and rather than just getting frustrated and then getting frustrated with myself for getting frustrated, I was like, hey, just let yourself feel whatever it is. And I could kind of feel some stuff that he was going through, and I just like leaned into it and just allowed it. Just like, you know what, I'm just gonna gently approach this and allow it. And it just started evening out, and the itchiness started going away, and the frustration started going away, and certain pains in that side of my body just started going away. I think that kind of to draw this back around, I think that So I believe very strongly in a mind-body-spirit connection. And I think that, yes, there are a lot of things that happen inside your body that it is smart for you to go get medical care and help with. But there is a lot of things that go on in your body that are actually energetic. And I think that also where you focus your energy is where your energy goes. So the more that I found myself focusing on that itchy spot, or myself focusing on how frustrated I was and how frustrated I was with being frustrated, and just why am I thinking about you all the time, the more that was being amplified. So as soon as I took a step back and was like, you know what? I'm just going to allow this. There is obviously some type of inner detox, inner release, inner rebalancing happening between me and this man, me and other men in my life that I am energetically, spiritually, traumatically, sexually connected to in any way. I'm basically going through this type of purging and releasing and balancing process. So I'm just going to let it. I'm just going to allow it, and I'm just going to let it. I'm going to let it be and go with the flow of it. And today I just woke up in this beautiful state of peace. And I was just back in this mode of just feeling all this love in my heart towards him. Just love and admiration, and no more frustration about thinking about him. Just peace. I was like, thank you. And this is usually the state that I'm in when I think about this man, is usually the state of like, thank you. Thank you for being such a beautiful soul that I have gotten to connect with in this life. Thank you for this amazing connection that I have with you, even if I never see you again. Thank you for all that you've done for me. Like, just thank you. And I just re-entered that state again, and I could just feel even then, like, because our bodies and our energy bodies are so intricate, and the more that you work on yourself and meditate and get to know yourself, the more you will notice things. And I think the less that little happenings within your energy body and your spirit and your connection with other people, the less those are going to impact you, or at least impact you in like negative ways, or like have kind of like a grip on you, because we are connected to other people, energies, objects, everything all the time. And I think that's why being in the city is so overwhelming for me, because I'm so energetically sensitive that being so close to so much going on, so many people, so many objects, so many electricity, all of this is so overwhelming, and it's really hard to more deeply connect with myself when I am in a place like that. And I have so much respect for people, like energetically sensitive people who still thrive in those types of environments. Like, wow, you must have done so much work on yourself and have like some very powerful, healthy, energetic boundaries, and I just love and respect that so much. But being out here, it is allowing me to notice when something is touching me energetically, when I'm connecting to somebody and it is moving things through my energy body. And I can feel it too when I'm connecting to somebody and like there is an energy flow between us and I can feel it breaking through shit through both of us. Like I can feel if we're both getting frustrated by the energy, the connection that's between us, and sometimes it's good. And I will create a video at some point down the line, hopefully, about creating energetic boundaries and calling your energy back. You can cut ties and cords with people. It does not mean that you are just cutting them out of your life, but if you have an energetic flow going on between you and somebody else and it is becoming overwhelming and you're just like, I need a break, you can cut that. You can pull your energy back to you and return there whatever is not yours. Some people will say I return it to the sender or I'll return it back to that person. I personally will return it to source energy, to spirit, to transform that energy. So if there is any like negative flow between us, that I'm not just like, fuck you, send all that negativity back to you. I take all whatever that like negative energy, negative seeming energy was, I take that and I'm like, you know what, I don't want you to have to deal with this. And yes, it is your own process in transforming that, but at the same time I would rather just give this up to light, because if you're sharing that, that's coming from both of you guys. I just want to say that right now. If you're like connecting with somebody and it's like all bad vibes, like it's not just them, okay? Like you are participating in that. So give that up to God, to the universe, to source, to light, to spirit, to transform that and create deeper healing and a deeper love connection between you and that person or that object or that situation or that experience or place or whatever it might be. So, man, this is such a fun topic. This is like one of my favorite things to talk about, guys. But I kind of like, I feel like with this connection that I felt with this masculine, I feel like it was moving something inside of me. It was working out this toxic stuff that I had built up that may not even had to do with him, but having that spiritual connection allowed it to work its way out of my body. And the way that it did that was by allowing it. I didn't fight it. I didn't try to suppress it. I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to let myself feel this. I'm going to feel frustrated and I'm going to be okay with it. And honestly, as soon as I decided that, I was no longer frustrated. I was just like, oh, hey, like, we're just feeling things and it's okay. I don't have to stay in that. And I also, if I can feel your frustration, I don't have to amplify that frustration by becoming frustrated that you're frustrated or whatever it might be. If maybe if you're watching this, you totally relate to what I'm talking about, and maybe you're just like, okay, this girl is out there. I hope that this video reaches like anybody who can connect with it on a deeper level, though. But yeah, guys, I am just so grateful to be out here. So grateful to be out here because I am able to deepen my connection with myself as well as deepen my connection with others, even if it is on an energetic and spiritual type level. I can deepen my love with others, and where there might be chaos and a hurt and projection and insecurities and any of that, I'm in a place where there's not all of this other shit rubbing up against me and interfering and just making my mind and my spirit feel like chaos, so I can actually process those things and feel through them and allow more peace within the connections around me and myself. And it has just been so fucking beautiful, guys. I don't even know what I'm gonna call this video because I feel like I covered some a few different things, kind of like all on the same vibe, but oh my goodness. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. I feel like I kind of hopped around topics, and I hope that I explained that in a easy enough way to understand. But anyway, thank you so much for being here on my journey. Like, oh my goodness, so many exciting things are happening, and I'm just so happy to be out here in the desert. And oh my goodness, I am just I'm just so excited, guys. Like, to be I don't even know how to I don't know how to hold it in, and I don't know how to express it fully, but the peace that I'm creating and my ability to connect with myself and spirit in a deeper way is just so amplified by leaving the city that I am just like, oh, thank you, love it. I am like living in my greatest element, guys. Being in the middle of nowhere is like absolutely that's my zone, dude. That's my fucking zone. I just like to, this is like my thing, is like I like to very deeply connect with the spiritual and supernatural, and I'm just so excited to be back into that and to be able to share more with you guys about that, because I know that while I was in the city, it was a lot more focused on my experience just being in the city and dealing with so much anxiety. But at the same time, I think that's so cool because I get to show so many different aspects of life and how I experience life doing different things with you guys, and it allows me to more deeply connect with a greater group of people who might have followed me living in like Oregon or Humboldt, in the woods, in the hills, like living in the middle of nowhere, people who initially followed me like that. And now I can more deeply connect with people who would be like, oh, well, you don't know what it's like living in the city. Even though I kind of grew up in the city, now I can more deeply connect with people that are going through those types of city life types of things. So yeah, guys, I will say overall I am grateful for my time in Utah. I don't really feel much of a desire to go back there. Maybe someday I will, but yeah, just excited to be out here, guys, and I am so looking forward to sharing more as it comes. I hope that you vibed with this video. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and have an amazing and beautiful day, guys. I love you, and I believe in you.